Hello. Good to be with you all again. I'm Ron Patterson, Chief Executive Officer of the world. Now, chances are, if you're watching this, you're either a new recruit at the agency, or even maybe you're an old recruit at the agency and you're being forced to watch this by your superiors in an attempt to motivate you to even higher levels of effectiveness. Either way, I have some very exciting news for you about the latest development at George Patterson Partners, Melbourne. You see, for many years, George Patterson was a very, very large beast, much like Jennifer Lopez's ass. But times are changing. The marketplace has completely changed, and so must we. We're going to have to be much, much, much more leaner, like this. But don't worry. The good news is we've already done the bulk of the work in the space of just one short year. In fact, this industry magazine says George Patterson is the most creative agency in Melbourne. This is excellent. We should all be very, very proud. We've also seen some of our clients get fairly extraordinary sales results lately.
We've had fairly extraordinary sales results lately.
This is very good indeed. Because we've been so very, 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 very busy, there's been one small oversight. Very little planning or systems have been put in place to make sure we continue to do good work. Now, let me show you a few ideas. But things are going to change. We've spent ages writing down on a piece of cardboard a whole new philosophy, a single-minded idea that the whole agency will live by. Scarygood. What is Scarygood? Scarygood is an expression we've coined to describe the kind of work we want to do. A bit like if you were trying to categorize the music of Britney Spears, you might describe it as shit. But unlike Britney Spears, our work will be marked by its excellence. Sometimes getting a Scarygood idea produced is quite difficult. You see, most fresh ideas frighten people a bit at first. But if you haven't experienced an idea before, it's much, much more likely to stick in your mind. Delicious. Some young creative types make the mistake of thinking a Scarygood idea is simply an ad that shocks people. No, nothing's further from the truth. A Scarygood ad could equally be something that's sweet and lovely, like a little baby seal. As long as it moves us in some way, as long as it touches our little hearts, that's all that matters. Also, a Scarygood ad will only really work if it's strategically sound, which means it's based on a very, very strong premise that speaks truthfully to people. This is a client. He's quite a lovely chap and really quite reasonable. All he wants is for his company to do well. It's very natural when you're spending a lot of money like our clients do to sometimes feel like you want to run away like a scared lady man back to your boring old ads we've all seen a million times before. It can seem safe, but in the long run it's not. It leads to brands like Golden Breed or Bonox or Tang, which you kids probably don't even remember because one day they just faded away. The thing is, when a client runs an interesting ad, he'll more likely feel Scarygood too, a mixture of confident and shitting himself. But soon he will feel very clever indeed, because people will start to notice his ads more, and soon he'll see his profits go in an upward direction. These days, marketers spend thousands of dollars researching their ads. This is because it's very, very handy to get an objective opinion. It can stop you making very large mistakes. We call it a disaster check. They do this by taking a group of very, very, very ordinary people off the street who, for the very reasonable price of $10 an hour, offer all kinds of useful advice about how they should run their multi-million-dollar company. This, of course, is a very legitimate and important part of the advertising brand wheel. However, we have to be careful we don't ruin our ad in the process. For example, While we were researching the latest Carlton draft ad, we did this simple experiment. We took all the combined opinions and criticisms of the whole research group, and then we applied them to our new ad. This was the result. Just there. Oh. As you can see, worry about too many opinions and you end up with a very, very watered down ad. See, a good marketer knows that while they might have a great idea, it's usually best to get an expert to execute that idea. For example, if I were the President of the United States, it might be wise to have a speechwriter to cover the fact that I'm not very smart. It's a very, very funny thing indeed that many clients hire advertising agencies for exorbitant fees, and then agencies in turn employ people who've spent their whole lives studying thousands of ads and films and music and poetry and books and all sorts of things like this. And yet, when it comes down to it, the client prefers to listen to the advice of their wife or lady friend. This is very amusing, but while they might be right occasionally, mostly their taste is up their arse. This taking things into your own hands approach is a very funny phenomenon indeed, and can get you into a lot of trouble. For example, once when I was in Korea, I operated on my own back, even though I have no medical expertise whatsoever. And I'm still paying the price every time I go and visit Mrs. Hobson down at number 63. Good ads can only happen when the agency works together like a fully trained beaver. So from now on, we want the agency to work more as a team. We want to blur the lines between departments. Blurring the lines means being more open-minded. For example, this is a creative person. We need to get into their trendy little heads that they're not the only ones that can come up with an idea. No one should feel compartmentalized. For example, an account service person even helped write copy on this video presentation, which is why it's a bit shit. But not to worry, the point is, a good idea can come from anywhere. Look at Sweden. But even more important than interfering in other people's jobs is that we get our own jobs right. Because it only takes one slip-up to turn something exciting and original like this into something like this. You know, when an ad's being made, it can sometimes feel like the forces of nature conspiring to turn it into a piece of old bollocks. So it needs everyone in the agency's protection. It's like having a little baby that we have to shepherd past a series of well-meaning but very hungry wolf men. Now, let's take a look at the various departments and talk about how we can make the overall process more highly effective like Charles Bronson. This is how it can sometimes feel to work in account service.
Look, Paul, the reason I brought you in here today is that I'd like to ride you like an old Mexican donkey.
Okay. What, now or?
Yeah, no time like the present.
Okay, or just on the floor here, is that okay?
Sure.
Cool.
Come on, Paul. Yeah, come on. Whoa, whoa, come on, yeah.
This is okay for a while, but it can wear an account person out. Far better to establish an honest relationship with your client where you're not being treated like a spank monkey.
Woo, come on, Paul.
This is very important because the account service job actually starts well before an ad is even made, just by being enthusiastic and keeping clients abreast of the latest and best ads in the world. If we don't manage the process properly, this is how a creative brief can end up.
Guys, this is the strategy.
We need to distill them down so they look simple like this.
This is the strategy.
Because that means less work for creatives. And we all know how hard they work. Because people forget to keep track of all their costs, finance has sometimes been forced to work like this. But if we're all more accountable, it can work like this. Mandy,
Yes?
have you ever thought of becoming a personal assistant?
No, not really.
Oh, well, that's a shame. I wouldn't mind having you buffing up my Frederick.
Okay.
Chopin, I mean.
Ah,
Coming up with good ideas on demand isn't easy.
What about, you know last year they had that idea with the monkey?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we have a monkey?
Creative people can fall into the trap of copying the style of other work from the past that they consider to be good, of creating formula advertising. They need to seek out fresh inspiration other than award books. They need to break their creative habits somehow, try new experimental approaches.
Made from beer. What? Made from beer.
Oh, that's reaching some parts that haven't been reached in a while. Some building going on down in Spencer Street, if you know what I mean. Creatives shouldn't get intimidated by trends. Don't be scared to use a technique that's considered out of fashion. Anything to break the formula.
Cotton draft, it's a bit yellow. Cotton draft, tastes good when you swallow. Cotton draft, oils my elbow. Cotton draft, it 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 oils my elbow.
Jeez, man. Shit, man. What's wrong with him?
What's your fucking problem?
Remember, there are no rules, but that's no reason to be a dickhead. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Why do you always want a monkey in it, Dad?
I don't always want a monkey. It's just, I think the occasional monkey's funny.
I don't mind having a monkey in the ad. Done it before. It's fine. It's a great idea. Yeah, it's comedy,
Or maybe not. It could be tragic.
but you've got to ask Pip. Does it have to be a monkey?
What about a mongoose? In the past, our TV and print production departments have struggled to cope with the demands we place on them.
Hi, Pip.
oh, hi.
We need to shoot a volcano with a mongoose jumping out of it
When?
by Tuesday.
This can be rather stressful. So we need to give our production departments more time to do their jobs properly.
Hi, Pip.
Oh, hi.
We need to shoot a volcano with a mongoose jumping out of it
When?
Wednesday.
All these systems we'll explain in more detail soon. You don't have to worry. You'll also receive this rather attractive booklet, which will explain the whole Scarygood philosophy. If we're all trying to follow it, it'll help us do great work. Our clients will attract more customers, and we'll be able to keep our jobs and maybe even have biscuits in the canteen again. This brings me to one final but nevertheless very important point. From now on in the agency, we want to have a lot more fun. Yes, fun. Fun means that every now and then we need to let our hair down and get our freak on. Fun looks like this. It's very, very relaxing. And when the mind is relaxed, it sometimes comes up with better work. Or maybe not. Doesn't matter, as long as you all feel good. That's the main thing. Thank you for listening, and keep up the good work. Cheerio!
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. Let's go back to the small, very, thank you very much, sir. Okay then, goodbye. Yeah, thank you. See you later.
When I'm lying in my bed at night, I don't wanna grow up. Nothing ever seems to turn out right, and I don't wanna grow up. How do you move it?
Ooh! Wolfman Jack.
Mandy!
You see, most fresh... My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and damn right, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I'd have to charge. Oh my God, look at me. I look like a goddamn rabbit.
Ready to roll?